Sup, my name is Rui for the TheYugiohCouncil, and these are the legendary 10 decks of the formats. Or at least I believe these are the 10 decks. No Fire Fist is not on this list. This is the honorary mentions. This and Six Samurai I'd like to take a second to mention, because we don't know what either one of the decks will do. I don't think Six Samurai are sacky enough, to be fair, to control the game state in the format. You know, they did lose the emptiness. As for Fire Fist, they're just kind of an unknown rogue factor right now. So hence I left them off this list. But I want you guys to know I am thinking about both of these decks, and I'm giving them the honorary mention about talking about them. So in the near future, if we do, well, we're going to do more countdown, but if we do any countdowns that feature road decks, be sure to know that those two will pretty much make the cut. So the first one I want to start talking about is Evilswarm. A lot of people don't talk about Evilswarm when they make their top 10 countdowns. And I've seen tons of top 10 countdowns. I was curious what people were saying. I feel these guys have a great matchup, like the many of you. But the one thing I step away and say, hey, you know what? They're good to mention on the top 10. If it was just 5, I would not mention them. But since this is top 10, I'm going to mention them. Because of the sheer fact that they have a great matchup against the Clefs. That is one thing they do have. But the problem that also comes down to is there's Stat Knights, there's Burning Abyss, there's Clefs, there's tons of rogue decks, there's things we don't know where it's going to be popping up. So just saying that Evilswarm are great because they do great against the Clefs is not a fair, estimate of where they stand right now in the game state. And yeah, your guy, you could do great at locals against one deck, but you have to remember, and I'm not trying to insult any Evilswarm players here, it goes further than just one deck, and the deck did lose to Vanity's Emptiness. I think it's a great deck that's going to play out very well. They have the anti-back row hate in the form of their own fucking theme lance. That this son of a bitch gets it out of the deck. Yes, I just used those words for that. But in all seriousness, I don't see it winning the top tables, at pretty much the bigger events. I do think they have a great matchup against everything. To an extent, but I think they're just outclassed by other decks. Now, with that said, let's go on to number 9. Okay, number 9 spot, I know many of you are going to hate me for this, Yosenju. But Ryu, they didn't do great last format when they had 3 Vanity's Emptiness. What makes you think they'll do great now? You see, there's this new card coming out called Lose a Term. And pretty much, these guys were the best deck to use that. So I'm looking at not just now, but I'm looking at the near future. On top of that, these guys are pretty damn fucking good as a deck alone. I don't think they're going to outclass Clefs or the upcoming Nova Knight. That's not the proper word. I want to say Star Knights because it's the Stellar Knights. The Stellar Knights with the Star Seraphs. So I think it's Seraph Knights. I'll pull up the proper name. But anyway, to the point, I don't think they're going to outclass those decks. They are a beastly fucking deck. They can drop Chidori. They don't care about your back row. They allow, the extra normal summons. They're not afraid to drop big back rows. They have anti-destructions. They have a counter trap card. I know many of you are going to hate me for putting them on the list, but you know what? They are one of the best top 10 decks out there right now. Are they the number 4 spot, number 2? Hell fucking no. Are they a number 9 spot? Are they worthy of that? Yeah, they are right now. I think in the near future with the new new continuous trap card that's pretty much going to replace Vanity's Emptiness for some decks, not for all. To lose a turn. I think these are the guys that are going to be able to basically make the biggest leap with it. And I think in all seriousness, my phone's going off because everyone's like messaging me as I've been offline all day. In all seriousness, I think these are the guys who are going to benefit from the most. So be on the lookout for that at your locals, whatever it is, your regionals, your YCSs. I still think these guys have a lot of potential. We have yet to see them abused. And it's only a matter of time. Whether that be on the next ban list or this one, whatever. I'm telling you, I really do think they're going to top. Let's move on to rate. For the number 8 spot, I've gone to the woods. The Woods of Sylvans. This is a high density combo deck, but with the lack of Vanity's Emptiness in the game state right now, and Skill Drain being put at 1, these guys get a boost. And oh god, do they ever get a boost. And Lone Fire at 3 as well. Now, given they don't have Soul Charge at 3, which would just completely break them, we all know it would, they do have Glow Up Bulb, they do have Triple Miracle Fertilizer, so it's kind of a way, it's still like having 3 Soul Charge. In a way. Keywords, don't take it out of my mouth, just in a way. Now, the deck is flexible enough if you want to get really sacky. You can play Symbol of Heritage and Hidden Armory and Mark of the Rose and just play all those techie, funky cards. Not my cup of tea, but more power to you if you want to. On top of this, besides there are 40 move combos that kind of make me wish that Infernities were back. I'm not going to lie on that. I really am not going to lie. They just got reprinted in Gold Series, so I think even Konami's believing in the hype that these guys can go places this format. It's hard to say how their matchups will fare across the board. A lot of the times it just seems like if you draw Lone Fire Blossom, you pretty much are in a good state. If you don't draw Lone Fire Blossom, you're in a bad state. But that's kind of the Sylvan thing. And maybe that's my inexperience talking about the deck. But in all seriousness, I think that's just something that has to be addressed eventually. Maybe I'm going to use this word, the Sylvan pros, the people who are more defiant and more used to playing the deck will actually be able to comment and say this is how the deck should be played and taught with it. I wish those Sylvan players luck. I wish them luck. It's always the one deck that I wish would have top, just to have that top. It's kind of that Dark Worlds effect where it was so much hype and everyone believed in it, but it did not top. I think this deck actually has top more times than Dark Worlds. To be fair, I don't like to be inaccurate. But anyway, let's move on to the number 7 spot. And I know at the number 7 spot, many of you are going to go, well, this deck is outdated. Most people don't play it no more. It's the flexibility of the deck that keeps it so strong. It's Shaddolls. And I do think they're going to rise up, not incredibly high, but just to a point that they're going to get a little more attention. It's going to have that Lightsworn effect. I talked about this before, where Lightsworn had everything under the sun to make them tier 1, right? And I know Shaddolls had their T1 status. But Lightsworn had everything to be broken. It took them like 4 formats to get broken enough to the point that Konami has slaughtered the damn thing. I think Shaddolls still have a lot of things that we have yet to really experience in the form of abusing us. A lot of us are just ready. But keep in mind, now they have Crush Card. They did lose their Super Polys. Hooray. But they still have Crush Card. And it's early as fuck in the format. So I'm going to say it. We don't know what Crush Card will do in the TCG format. I'm excited to find out, but I am scared at the same time. And I think Shaddolls have the best usage out of that Crush Card virus. Out of any deck out there, I think Shaddolls have the flexibility for it. Keep in mind, they have 6 different fusions. And I know someone said that the Water one was good against Neclots, but I don't think anyone's going to play the Water one. From people I've talked to, people who played the deck and just general consensus, it doesn't seem like something that they would actually use. And I know against the Neclots matchup, they can actually kind of just say, you know what, I dropped Winda, but then they're going to get Rage Stomp on, and then it's just not going to end well. So I think that's something that Shaddolls still have yet to come, be able to jump over. So they're still outclassed. Hence, they make the cut here. So Evilswarm was number 10, Yosinju was number 9, Sylvans were number 7, and Shaddolls are number 6. I believe I got those numbers right. So I'm going to try. We're going to do this one more time. Evilswarm's number 10, Yosinju 9, Sylvan 8, Shaddolls are 7. Okay, because I'm losing my spot. Infernoid is the number 6 spot. Many of you are probably scratching your head like, Ryu, what the fuck are you talking about? Infernoid aren't doing shit. They get stopped by Kaiku. I know. I've experienced it. I've done it to Mikey. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. So let me say this now, for the many of you. I am still looking at the next set. I believe it's Crossover Souls, because there's so many sets coming out and trying to keep up on everything and trying to spit out all these videos and traveling everywhere I'm traveling. And there's a turtle that's out of her little aquarium because she wanted out. She's making too much noise. And I have to keep looking over. So I'm sorry that I'm getting distracted. I'll take a photo and put it on Facebook. It's funny. Anyways. They still are getting support to the point that I think the deck will eventually be broken. So I think it's a good time to say this now, to be one of the first ones to say it, I guess, is the point. The deck has a lot of potential. The only problem is Kaiku is a hard counter to it. Fossil Diner is a hard counter to it. The deck needs to play a few more cards, and I think it needs all the OCG support and reasoning to come to 3. And this shit's going to be busted. I think it's going to have a basically a surprise motherfucker. It's going to have that surprise factor of the format if it does top. People will go, wait. Who the hell was not running Kaiku in the room? You, or you. Kind of effect. And we've seen that before. So there's a lot of potential there for this deck to take people by storm. And it is an incredibly good deck. It's fast. It's furious. It's got everything it needs to top. The only thing it fully needs is it more support, which it's getting on May the 15th. So that's why I'm putting this at the number 6 spot. The number 5 spot, this is another deck that I think hasn't fully broken itself out, but it eventually will get to the point that Infernities did, where people are like, oh my god. You can deck your opponent out if they play Maxi against you when you're playing this deck. But again, Kaiku, hard counter. It's then you can't banish stuff. You can still make your plays, but you can't banish stuff. You're just playing slower. Here's the thing about Ritual Beasts. They have tons of great matchups, tons of flexibility, and flexibility is still being one of the strongest things. That's why I'm putting them at number 5. That dolphin, that pedo dolphin just wants to come out and sit on her ass and do nothing but say, no, you cannot stop me. And then they have the searcher in the hawk. They have the beater in the tiger. I mean, these guys are just so good when it comes down to it in all general consensus. They have the, endless combos like Inferiorities. And with new support coming out, in OCG and TCG, who's to say tomorrow that they won't get those endless loops that we've seen with Infernities? And there were fucking endless loops with Infernities, and it was not pretty. And I know I keep bringing up Infernities. Rip Infernities. Rip! I just had to get in there once. But with Ritual Beast Tamers, they have a lot of flexibility. They're fast, they're aggressive, and they can play off the Maxi. They don't give two shits about Maxi, so it's just great. So they get the number 5 spot. Number 4 spot, I think this deck is extremely underrated right now from a lot of people, is Clefs. The Clefs. Grab your clip papers because they're still relevant. In all seriousness, they really are. They lost the one equip card. I give you that much. They lost the one equip card. They lost 2 of the equip cards and 1 scout. Fair enough. The deck still is getting its own damn skill drain. Its own fucking skill drain. And there is still a card that acts as a skill drain for the Clefs, so they can still have their beat stickness of beat stickness. There's really not too much to say. A lot of people are not going to be running MST, which I think is a mistake, because they're going to be like, hey, Necklot's going to be tier 0. I think there's a deck that you're not seeing, and this being one of the, decks you're not seeing, that may rise up and take advantage of that situation and saying, hey, you want to fucking not play MST? Fine, we'll play Clefs, and then what are you going to do then? You're not going to be prepared for us. We're going to drop everything against you, and just be like, fuck. It just can't, to me, it seems like one of those kind of situations where everyone's going to take everything out of the deck. Someone will break Clefs again, because they're still a good deck. They're just a little lower on the tier 1 status, but they are still pretty damn good for a tier 1 deck. They really are. So if you're going to be willing to take a second to use your mind to play this deck, it is worth it. Trust me. It is still extremely good. I mean, loss of Snatch Steal, fine. Loss of 2 skill drain, fine. Loss of a scout, fine. Loss of the sacrifice. That is a lot of losses, though. Konami hit him good. I will give you that much. Signing against these guys is pretty damn easy, but hey, I still think they're underrated for tier 1 status. So let's go on to the number 3 spot and see what the final 3 are. Oh no, we're melting in hell. No wait, we're burning abyss, you fucking moron. We don't burn, we rise. Anyway, Burning Abyss, number 3 spot. I just had to get that in. The artwork always made me think of shit like that. Burning Abyss, number 3 spot. Still flexible as hell. They only lost 2 tour guides. Not a giant hit. They're getting a fusion. We don't know wherever else they're getting May 15th, but they are getting new support. Fuck you, Konami. Stop supporting Burning Abyss. Start supporting Inferiorities more. And UAs. We need more of those cards, less of Burning Abyss. There, I said it. Burning Abyss had plenty of time in the spotlight. Honestly, it's just like, ugh. It's kind of one of those situations. You know what I mean? They still have the 3 Scarm. They still have everything else. They only lost the tour guide. And they gained Crush card. When you gain fucking Crush card, even a Ratted, that's still some scary shit. On top of getting a fusion that we have no idea what it's going to do or what it will do to affect the deck, and no, I don't think it's really going to be played unless it's uberly broken. I guess that's the best way of saying it. Unless it's like uber tier 0 brokenness of broke. Like Neckcloth's level broke. Otherwise, it's not really going to be played. There's going to be fucking no point in it. And unless there's some kind of fusion card that basically is, future fusion, but for burning fucking Abyss. Can you imagine that? That'd be so broken. And Konami just goes, we're going to do it anyway. Honestly, I think we're going to see a mid-change format in the form of basically we're going to have the World Superstars, and then we're going to get another format change in May because of all the stuff coming out, and it's just going to be the nuts. So I think that's something we're going to see. and Burning Abyss has a high possibility of returning to the Tier 1 status. So definitely my number 3 pick without question, but let's go on to number 2. Reaching for the stars, it's Satella Knights. Yes, I just used that pun. I know it was really cheesy. I'm sorry. But because of getting Star Seraphs in the World Superstar next week, of all times, like, I believe it's next Friday that they're going to have that. They're going to get ridiculous. They're going to get a lot of new power, a lot of new speed. They have double honest. They have all the combos and all the giant pack row, and they have a great matchup against the Clefs. And I know many of you are probably going to say, but Ryu, no. They don't have a 100% great match against the Clefs. The Clefs are still better. I really want to see those two decks just duke the fuck out inside of a YCS. No freaking, top 16 draft bullshit. I just want to see the decks duke it out and see what would really win if they were forced to, completely duke it out, one-on-one. Would it be Star Seraphs, Satella Knights, or would it just be Clefs still winning everything? And I honestly think the deck has so much fucking potential that people just underrate it because they're just going by what's already been done with Satella Knights, not what's still to come. The deck's going to get a hell of a lot faster, a hell of a lot more aggressive, and it's going to be able to drop Oberos. And when it drops Ouroboros on you and it rips cards from your hand, it's a walking Trishulia, but it only has the effects once per turn. And we already know how fucking gnarly Trishulia can be because of Clefs, or if you played Plants back in the day, I believe it was 08. That was the last time Trishulia was legal. I think it was 08 or it was like 2011. 2011 was the last time Trish was legal in TCG. She's a gnarly motherfucker when she comes out. I mean, she just goes basically rip one from the hand, rip one from the grave, rip one from the field, all at once. But Ouroboros is once per turn you can activate one of those, just in case you been off the face of the earth when it comes to it, because a lot of people don't seem to run that. But that is something that you're gonna be seeing pretty damn often. These guys have the hype around them, and as they should, they deserve it, because this is the one deck that people are gonna underestimate and just gonna sweep Clefs. It's just gonna come up there where the fucking side deck and just go top. I mean, the Clefs is still going to be up there, don't get me wrong. They're still going to be that deck to beat, but I think Satella Knights will be that other deck to beat, one of the top 3 decks, and I think, it's just going to fall in there into place. Or we're just going to have 2 decks at top completely. I think it's obvious at this point what number 1 is. So I'm just going to go straight to it is Clefs. Even though losing Bryonak to 2 and losing 2 prep rights, the deck's really not too much effective because you could just play Senju, and when you play Senju, if you're not playing Senju, you can play more Senju. Senju is like Manju, except it only gets monsters. Hey, Prepper Rights is back, but except I can't pull out the spell card, but that's fine. You know what? I don't need to because I have all of my power cards. I still have my Unicorn. I still have my Valkyrius. I still have my Trishulia. I still have 2 Bryonaks. I still have all these combos inside of this one deck. And I could just play fucking 3 Upstart Goblins, not give 2 fucks, and I lost 3 cards that were speed. Oh, look, I got speed again. The only difference is you're trading searchable power over draw power. So I don't think that completely replaces it. I think it's a good replacement, don't get me wrong. But I think the Theorio, I think that's the proper term people use. It's a theory behind deck building. Is a little bit off with that because you're giving up Rhoda for, a Rhoda effect for draw power. And you're not going to be able to search out that one card. So I think people are kind of underestimating that. That effect is not going to be as good as it once was. The deck's going to be a little bit not less consistent, a little bit less power when it comes to searching, but it's still a great deck regardless. It's still going to top, and it's still the top deck of the format without question, unless the Satella Knights take that spot, which I think they have so much potential to, and I would be shocked if they don't at least top, when it comes to World Superstars next week. I really think Satella Knights are going to top alongside with Clefs. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on this. I'm just so thankful you guys were patient about me getting this video out, because I've just been pumping out freaking deck profile after deck profile because there's been so many requests. It was like 45 requests, and that was a huge fucking number compared to what I'm used to. It's usually like, yeah, you get like 10 or 20. 45? God, you guys are awesome. Keep sending those requests in. I love being super busy on this channel. I just love it. Quick little note, because I think most people will still be listening. I will be at WrestleMania this weekend, and I will be at the Hall of Fame, so I will be flying out Friday night, and I will get there Saturday. Videos will still be up on Saturday and Sunday, and then I'll be back Monday. So it's a lot to travel, but thank you guys so much. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more, and I'll catch you later. Peace.